Hello, Hailey. This is problem number 10, the rate of growth of the population of a new city, where n is the number of the population, the growth of, and they went and got the derivative. So we're going to have to do the antiderivative to get back to n of t. So first thing I did is I got my differential, and then I'm going to integrate. And so I integrated like that. But now on this particular problem, you have to take into consideration if the population was 5,000 at the time of incorporation. So that would be at time 0, the number would be 5,000. So I cleaned it up here, and what I did here was at time equals 0, which was the time of incorporation, that was the population. We're having to do this to find C. So I can go back to my original equation. So I substituted in where I needed to go, and I came out with C equals 5,000. So now I'm going to take that back right here, so I'll have my equation for us to determine the growth of the city, what the population was. So at this time they wanted us to find the population 4 years later, so substitute 4 in these particular positions. And if you do that, let me get my calculator, because I do like to store, and hopefully you can see this. So 4, I'm going to use x instead of t, so 500x plus 200x raised to the 3 divided by 2 plus 5,000. So I'm saying that the population 4 years later was 8,600. Okay, so that was problem number 10. See, the next one you had a question about was 16. Anytime you have a parentheses raised to a power, I do the substitution rule. So I'm going to let u equal this stuff in here, and then I'm going to go find my du over dx, get the derivative of this with respect to x, which came out to be that. But now I need to solve for dx because I'm going to do some substitution. So I flip-flop these two. If you multiply by dx then divide by that, technically you are flip-flopping. So I come up with that. So I'm going to put u here, all this in for dx, and clean it up. Now I went with a different color. That is pink. But now what I'm planning on doing is get this x to the 5th out. It cancels. And it needs to, because what I need left in this is just u's. If I have a number down here, it is in the denominator, and I bring it up front. And now I'm back to rule 1. So I've got a negative 1/6 over a fraction bar, u to the add 1 here, so that would give me a negative 1. This cleaned up would be a positive 1/6, and I'm ready now to finish up with the problem. Go back up and get what u is and substitute it in. So my 1/6, that raised to the negative 1 plus c. I would accept that, and this is the same thing. It's the exact same thing. Let's see, you also said problem 40, I think. So let me get problem 40. You've got to understand useful life is when cost equals revenue. Because as long as revenue is over cost graphically, you've got a profit. But when cost goes over revenue, you're operating at a loss. So first thing we've got to do is find the useful life. And I do this by the calculator because it's a little bit quicker. I graphed my C prime of t and my R prime of t. And now I'm going to go find out where they, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can go change my color so you can see it a little bit better. That is my cost function. Just not a very good graph, is it? And here comes my revenue. I think you can barely see it, but it's right there where they intersect. So I'm going to do second trace for my calc menu, number 5. And now I'm going to move over my cursor over to where they hit and do enter, enter, enter until I get the word intersection. And it looks like 2.8, and they wanted it to the nearest tenth. So that's my X or my T value here. That's the useful life. I don't know why the screen's not showing up any better. So now I got to find the area between the two curves. So, gag a maggot. Since revenue is over cost here, let me move that in a minute. Revenue's over cost. I'm going from 0 to 2.8. Get your revenue function. So that would be your 7e to the negative 0.3t minus your cost. It's top curve minus bottom curve. Let me get my other calculator, see if it might be any better. Now in word problems, go ahead and use your calculator. I would like to, you need to do the setup so you know what you're doing. So let's put the 7 second e to the negative 0.3x minus 3. Now I've got top curve minus bottom. Let me ask it to graph. And we're going to find the area from 0 up to 2.8. So second calc number 7, 0 to 2.8. So it comes out to be 4.860, and this is in, where is it? Thousands of dollars. So I need to multiply that by 1,000. So this comes out to be 4860. And that's just the total profit. They didn't say anything about average in this problem. So that's just the total profit from the game over that useful life. So hopefully these have helped. Thank you. Let me know.